Hello, everybody. I'm Andrew McDonald's, and I'm with my good friend Neil. I've known Neil for years and years, at least 10 years, I think. I first got started in real estate, and we were actually together in the same real estate club. So we both started roughly at the same time in our businesses, which is great. So thank you, Neil, for joining us. Tell me where you live, what you're doing just now, and any other information you'd like to share with the people watching.
Awesome, Andrew. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I think it's been about 10 years, man, because I had just gotten my real estate license about 10 years ago, and we met at Delaware. So I'm in Delaware, and we met in a real estate club. And I remember the first time that I met you, you were actually doing a flip, and you had invited people to come see what you were doing, and you were like giving free information about the flip, like how much did it cost. You were running numbers for everyone. You were like telling people how to work the deal up to know if you're getting a deal. So since then you've been giving people free information and teaching people from like back in the day. So I think we connected there for a while, and then you took off. Your business really took off. I started really focusing on my real estate business, which is being a realtor, buying and selling homes. Never really got into the investing side of it like you did till later on. I've been doing some investment stuff now, maybe about 5 years, I would say. But I know you took off big time with your real estate investing, and then so we lost contact for a little while, and then we came back full circle again, and now I'm part of your mastermind, mining and exploration stock mastermind. So really good, man. That's basically it, bro. I mean, I appreciate you. I really appreciate you.
Man, one thing that I really like about you, we're both family men. You've got a beautiful family, and you're also a brother in Christ. So that's really important to me and the other people that are watching that are like-minded. So I've always liked you so much. You're such a good person, and I appreciate us. Everything what we've been through and where we are today. Isn't that amazing, right? The kind of progression that life throws at you, and then you deal with everything, and you level up into where you are today.
Only God. That's all I could say. Only God, not me. You know,
That's right.
I, I I do. I'm so grateful because I look back from where I came from, and I just can't believe I'm like blown away at where I am right now, where He has me. So it's not through me, man, not through my own strength. I do what I can do as a human being, and control what I could control, which is only this, and He does the rest. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
That's amazing. So, man, tell me, what's your investment goals over the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years? Like, what are you? Obviously, you joined my group for a reason. So, share with everybody your reasoning and what talked most to you when you saw what I was typing and was sharing with everybody.
So it's it's gonna sound real plain and simple, Andrew, but just like we talked about, I am so faithful in God that I believe that He sends the right people in my life. I've known you for a long time, and once you brought this concept to me as to what you think is going to potentially happen here in the future, it made so much sense to me. It made a lot of sense to me, and I don't really like per se what you're doing, and like getting into like a passion for it. You have a passion for it. I was gonna say, I don't want to say I don't like it. You have a passion for it. I don't really have a passion for that stuff that you're doing. So I would rather, follow you. I'm almost like following you blindly. That you're doing the research about these companies and about the industry as a whole to know where it's going. And you're just basically advising and saying, recommending, but you're doing the same thing. So you're kind of just saying, hey, follow me in other words. I don't particularly have like an investment goal. I'll be completely honest with you. I believe that God provides and He's going to multiply what I already have. So As a real estate agent, I made a lot of money over the years, and what I've done is I've taken that money and I've invested it in different buckets. So, I have some rental properties. I do some private money lending, like you do, and now I'm invested now in these mining and exploration stocks with you. So, I have a couple different buckets there. Some other little things on the side. Life insurance and all this other stuff, but I try to diversify as much as I can, and I try to make my money work as hard as it can, and as best as I know how to make it work. And at the same time, trying to live a very humble lifestyle. I mean, I don't live beyond my means. We don't spend money on, we don't have credit card debt and all this other stuff. So we try to live debt free as possible. We do have a mortgage. A couple of rental properties have mortgages on them, but that's it. Other than that, we're pretty much debt free. But the money's out there working. I could pay off those debts. I could pay off my house tomorrow. I could, pay off the rental properties, but that money that I would use to pay those off is out working right now. So that's the way I look at it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm not like goal oriented. We're not promised tomorrow. We just talked about this. We're not promised tomorrow. My main goal is to spend as much time with my family as possible. So I've realized that certain things have taken away from my family life. I don't know if you saw this, but I just got rid of Facebook and Instagram on my cell phone. I deleted those apps off of there. I didn't delete the accounts. I didn't go crazy, but I deleted the apps off my phone. You know why? Because they're sucking time away from my family. They're making me feel anxious. They're making me feel, I get this tightness in my chest. You know what I mean? I don't think that's the sole contribution to that, but it plays a big part. The phone on the whole takes away from my family. So I'm just more focused on being comfortable and working towards freedom. The money's out there doing its thing, and I'm learning as I go along. That's how we do. We fall forward, right? We're not falling backwards. So I'm falling forward, and I'm just falling into it. I'm really glad to be in this group with you guys, because I just follow the advice. I don't participate in the conversations too much, as you could tell. But I'm looking and I'm there saying, hey, look at this particular stock. It might be a good time to get in. And I go on there, and if I don't have it, I get it. If I have it, I add a little bit more. Add a little bit more. So I've actually set up like a custodial account as well for my daughter, because I never did anything for her. So I just set up a custodial account for her, and I started adding some of those stocks as well to her account. She's babysitting now, she's making some money, and I'm teaching her now, because nobody ever taught me as that young age. I'm saying, look, now you got to split your money up into buckets. What are you going to donate first and foremost? What are you going to give to God? Okay, then here's the money you got to invest, here's the money you got to save, and then you have a little bit of money to spend. So that's it, brother. I mean, I don't know, that was a long answer.
That's a great answer. No, seriously, that's fantastic. I want to tell everybody that's watching that Neil is such a great person. Number one, he was always a very intelligent person, but today he is one of the top realtors in Delaware. So I just want to let everybody know that in advance. So the kind of people that I associate with and that are in our group are high quality people. Neil is doing so well. Every time that I followed you, man, you were always at award ceremonies and doing all kinds of cool stuff. So I just want to congratulate you on that, man. It's impressive just where we started and where we are. Life is a great journey, isn't it? And I love the fact that you're helping not only just your own financial picture, but you started doing that for your children as well. And so for me, I think that is essential, because I'm helping my wife, my parents, my friends, people in our group as well. So it's like we are not just touching the lives of people, in our direct circle, but we're really making a ripple effect in everybody that we come into contact with, not just with business, but with with the love in our heart, right? And we're helping people if they've got problems in their life, or they need some advice. We're there to help them, you know. And so that's what I do every single day. Like that's the heart, the kind of heart that I have, and I know you have the same heart, you know.
Yeah, it's all about service, brother. So I can't, I can't take all. I appreciate the kind words, but I can't take the credit for that. I'm just here to serve. You know, I think um, by serving people, that's where you really get the gratitude and the happiness, you know, that you feel inside, is by serving people. And as a real estate agent, that's what I do. I serve people. Yes, I may be looked at as like a salesperson, but I'm not a salesperson. I'm there to listen. I know you have a need, but I'm there to listen, and I'm there to advise, and I'm there to serve. You know, I'm gonna make sure that you get the house that you really want. You know, and if you're selling a house, I'm making sure that you're gonna get top dollar, and that, you know, sometimes that's on the sell side. It's tough, brother, because sometimes those sellers get so greedy, and in my head I'm thinking, I'm like, you're being really greedy right now. You know, like I try my best to like say that to them without actually saying those actual words, but I'm just like, yeah, that's
I
a
hear
that's
you.
a tough.
I
That is
hear
a
you
tough.
completely, man. So, you know, you kind of answered this question already, but I wanted to touch on it. You kind of, I always ask people, what made you decide to work with me in particular? You kind of answered that before, but I also want to touch on as well. What did I say or do that clicked for you, that made you think, wow, I got to do something? Or, you know, the economy is not going to be so hot in the future. Maybe I got to do something. What kind of things, um, what made it concrete for you to work with me versus just going out and doing something else?
Um, so I'm trying to think back, man, because it's been a few years now since I got started with you. So I would definitely say I started really keeping a finger on the economy, you know, a pulse on the economy, like what's going on. Like everything was not a bed of roses. Yes, people were making money hands over fist the last couple of years, but that all is not really great in itself. So I started really looking at the economy, looking at history, you know, of cycles, you know, the way things went, and looking at like reserve currencies, you know, how often did the reserve currency changes, and then when we got away from the gold standard, what happened, and all this other stuff. So I started really looking at history, and I'm like, listen to what you had to say about, you know, minerals and you know, gold, silver, all these precious metals, and I'm like looking at what those things are used for, and it looks like they're being used more and more for future things, and we have less and less of it. So that, to me, you know, with all that combined, it just started to click. I'm like, look, this makes sense, because, you know, the paper money that we have, and the, you know, cryptocurrency that's just all digital and fake. I'm like, that stuff could be gone like that, you know, versus like the physical metals that we have, that God put on this earth, you know, that have been used from ever since. They're not going anywhere, you know, they're definitely not going anywhere. So I just that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I really started looking at the economy, and I daily I'm looking at stats and what's going on, and, you know, consumer spending, and, you know, debt, and the lifestyle that we live here in America is, you know, earn a dollar, spend five, and it's not sustainable, you know. I read a stat today that like 39% of Americans don't pay their credit card bill, you know, in full. That, you know,
That's
it's
really
crazy.
bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so part of the things I think is I shared a lot of details with you, like economic charts, data, um, snippets of knowledge, right? Like things that were like give you a picture of the economy and where we were, and not just like in that particular year, but what it's going to be like 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And so you kind of made the decision, okay, shit isn't looking rosy, right? Down the line, really tough decisions have to be made within the United States that can really change how the dollar is valued, the government spending, whether they're going to continue spending like crazy or they're forced to stop spending. So like you got all these information and then you had to make a decision. Okay, I'm going to diversify outside of real estate because real estate is my bread and butter, but I need something else to cover my ass, right? So and also we have a history together. We've known each other for years and years and years. So that was easy, right? Like, you know me, you know my wife, like us like really well. So that was easy, that part. But it's really trying, like the biggest thing I tell people is that when they talk to me, that they have to first use their gut, then pray on it, and then understand, okay, a lot of people agree, like I'd say most people, I would say, agree with 70 to 80% of what I say, but then there's the last couple percent that we're never going to agree on everything, Neil, but the thing about it is if we are moving in the same direction, and like that's all that we need to do, because we need to stick together, right? Because if people are hardworking and that know what's going to happen, are kind of like putting that out there, hey, like there's stuff that's going to happen, you got to do something, and here's a couple options. You were like you didn't just sit in your hands, you actually pulled the trigger, you know what I mean? Like you actually made the decision and did something rather than just sitting on your hands. And I have to praise you for that, because a lot of people, I would say at least half of the people would not do that. Like at least half people are still asleep. They don't know something bad is going to happen in the economy. They think, they've got rose glasses on, and so they are, they're still drinking the Kool-Aid. They think that everything is good until it isn't. And so we can't, I can't tell you the time frame that will happen in, but it's kind of like it's inevitable, right? you know that what's happening with government spending is not sustainable. What's happening with the dollar is not sustainable. So it's just one outcome leads to another, which leads to another, and that helps you, figure out decisions, right? How to make decisions and pull through with them, so that when something does happen, you're ready for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally understand what you mean, and I like to call it the matrix effect. People are plugged in; they're plugged into the matrix, and they think that the world that they're living in is actually the real world. But all they got to do is pull the cord out of the back of their head, and they realize, like, whoa, what's going on here? You know?
Yeah,
It's
man.
one.
So I want to ask you about this matrix stuff. So tell me, what's the coolest thing that I told you that you made that you're like, oh my God, like this is like, so like it could be anything that we've talked about in the past couple of years. So tell me something that I've told you that you really liked and you were like, wow, that's amazing. That's really like, I never knew that before, or that's like, brand new information that, share with everybody listening.
So I don't know. I mean, you kind of put me on the spot here, bro. Let me think about something. I guess if I had to choose something, I was kind of getting caught up with this whole electric car thing, thinking that this is probably going to be the future. And like, I was actually considering, buying an electric car. I ended up buying a hybrid, but, you know, I guess, through your group and the information that you shared, I kind of realized that this thing's just not sustainable. Like it's, it's BS, like we can't do anything. The batteries are causing more environmental problems more than anything else. Like we can't, you can't recycle them. You can't do anything with them. They go bad eventually, and then they go into a landfill. So just that right there alone was just like all these people are just buying all these EVs and getting, involved in it. I'm just like, dude, you guys.
It's worth the price just for that, right? I saved you from buying an electric vehicle and having to pay for maintenance, like to upgrade your electric to recharge the thing, and to to put a new battery in if it goes bad, which is like, you know, they hide all these things from the consumers, right? So
It's crazy, dude. It's
it's a good
crazy.
golden nugget, right?
Yeah, that was a good one. So, because I was just getting caught up in the hype as well, you know. Like I wish we had spoken before, but I ended up getting solar panels on my house too. I got solar panels on my house that I paid a ton of money for. I heard those can't be recycled either. Like nobody will even take them.
Yeah,
So,
they're full of heavy metals. They're full of chemicals. If they were to break anywhere near you or your children, they would inhale dust that would like eventually cause major health problems. So you got to be like very like if there's a huge hailstorm, they can be destroyed, and so
wow.
they're very fragile, right? So you have to understand if anything breaks, you got to like decontaminate it immediately, right? It's kind of like, mm-mm. So the and then also there was a couple instances where solar panels caught fire on a couple businesses' roofs. So you know you have a fire risk at some point as well because of that. Also, the way that the solar panels are designed, excuse me, is that the way that they're plugged into the system, they cause EMF radiation, electromagnetic frequency radiation. So Neil, you should go through your house and get one of those EMF detectors and see where the EMF radiation is in your house. So, for example, the solar panels will create dirty electricity within your home. So when you plug in something, um, whatever that line is connected, it'll emit dirty electricity to you and your family. So it's kind of you need to get an EMF detector and go through your home and see if it's off the chart. Then you really need to like figure
Remove
out.
that.
You can
Yeah.
talk to me and I can help you figure out what to do with EMF. I'm good with with well, like for example, if you can try not to use Wi-Fi. Like there's things you can do to eliminate EMF exposure in your home. But some homes that it's not worth it because there's so much. It would cost so much to EMF proof your home that it would just be not worth it to do it. But you know what I mean? So it's better to like sell and move to another home. But the solar panels will create this EMF radiation back into the home. A lot of people don't know this. So, you know, there's this benefit of, you get like, the sun is providing this electricity to your home, but there's some consequences to it as well, right? So
Wow.
there's, you got to make sure they don't break, and then you also got to make sure if you might need to install a dirty electricity filter in your home. So those are the kind of things. Just a FYI for anybody watching who didn't know about that. So, but yeah, man, like it's great because you're the type of person, man, that you take action. You once you are you don't just sit, you just ascend and ascend. You're that type of person. So that's the kind of person that I'm looking for, right? Like that. So that, because I'm the same way, and we're like-minded in a lot of different ways. So that's important to me, and I know it's important to you because it's it's not, you can't just trust any random person, right, on the internet. You got to know,
Yeah.
like, and trust somebody for sure, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
so, man, in just wrapping up our talk here, what would you say to other people that might be interested in joining the group that we've got? What would you say to them, and what would you say your experience has been, and just share whatever kind of things that come to your mind and come to your heart.
Sure. So I would definitely say, if you haven't even joined Andrew's free group, you should definitely join the free group. A lot of information in just the free group alone. But that way you'll kind of get a feel for the information that's being shared and what the goal is for his paid investment group. You could find out about that. But the guys that are in there as well, top-notch guys, like Andrew said, from all across the world. There are guys in there, and I see the conversations. I don't really participate too much, but I see some of the high-level conversations that's going on in there. We got, real estate investors, hard money lenders, and, a bunch of, very educated, well-educated guys in there that are just looking to help. Everybody's looking to pull each other up. So if you guys haven't checked it out, you definitely should. But you gotta discern for yourself. And like Andrew said, action is 99% of the whole thing. You can learn as much as you want, but if you don't take any action, nothing's gonna happen. So you got to take that action. Go check it out. As I said, join the free group at first, see what it's all about, and then talk to Andrew about getting plugged in with the mastermind.
That's great, man. Appreciate that. It's kind of like analogy. If you don't play, you'll never win, right?
Correct.
So you gotta get on the field and go for the goal, right? Because hey, guess what? Like we have one chance in this life to both of us. We started with from scratch, right? My parents didn't teach me anything about business. I had to learn. I had to build my network from scratch. I had to start from ground zero. So I kind of like I was the first person to graduate university in my family. Wow. So it was kind of like I'm standing on my parents' shoulders, and I know for a fact that your children and my children are standing. They're going to be standing on my shoulders and your shoulders, right? So they're going to level up from us.
Yes.
And so we got to do everything in this life possible to benefit our children so that when they become adults, they're going to be a level up higher than what we are, right? And so that's why I'm doing this, man, because I don't want my children to start from ground zero. I want them to start from, not from zero, but like a good level. I'm not saying like I'm going to be the richest person on earth or something, or the most intelligent person, but I can guarantee my kids will not make the same mistakes that I made. They will not make the same kind of errors in financial judgment. Now they'll make their own mistakes, right? Just like every kid and everything has to make their own mistakes. But guess what? They're not going to go through the minefield that I went through. And I know for certain it'll be the same on your end, Neil. Like I know how you are as a father. You're such a good father that you'll guide your children with to where they will be God-centered first, and that way that they will avoid a lot of the pitfalls that are in this world, right? So it's important. It's important to know that, right? But
absolutely,
one thing I want to leave with everybody watching is that important thing is you can't just sit on the fence. If you sit on the fence, you are basically saying, hey, look, I've got guys who agree with me, who like what I've said, they like my memes, they like everything, right? But they're like, there's a portion of people like that, and there's nothing I can do. I can't help everybody. The only thing that I'm trying to do is to get the word out as much as possible. I'm trying to reach as much people as possible that will hear this message and actually do something with it. Now, I don't care if you work with me. I don't care if you do this on your own. I don't care, as long as you do something. That is what I want people to do. I'm not doing this to make a living. I'm doing this because it's my passion. I love helping people. I love educating, and I love I kind of like going back to the matrix, waking people up, right? Unplugging them from the matrix. There's too many people that are asleep and that will get hurt, just like in 2008, and I don't want that to happen. So yeah, man,
unfortunately we can't save everybody, Andrew. You know what I mean? Like it's just, it is what it is. The folks that are going to listen to this message and they're going to resonate with it, they're going to do something. They're going to take action. It's like you said, it's for their kids. Don't take action for yourself, take action for your kids. Like if you got kids and you got a family and you want to see them do well and set them up for success, build generational wealth, well, you got to take action. That stuff doesn't happen overnight. You can't just sit back and say, well, one day I'm going to hit the lottery. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. So you got to go out there and do it. But this thing right here, Andrew,
I agree with you, man, 100%.
This thing right here is our biggest downfall, man. This thing right here is our biggest downfall.
It's such a drain on your productivity.
On your spiritual life, your physical life. It's a drain on everything, bro. It's a distraction. Absolutely. It pulls you, it sucks you right back into the matrix. That's where the matrix is, bro. Sucks you right. And we all fall victim to it. We all fall victim to it. So I'm not sitting down here saying that I don't fall into it. I get sucked into it occasionally, more than I would like to, But you gotta keep pulling yourself back out, and taking that overview look of what's going on, Take stock.
It's important, man. It's really important. And both of us have actually did steps to protect our families from this, and to actually, we're actively doing things, right? Like, and unfortunately, not enough people are doing things like that, right? Like, and that's why we live the world we live in today. And unfortunately, you can't, like you said, you can't help everybody. You just got to help people that have that frequency. They're out there. This resonates. Something resonates to what we just said, and that at some point somebody wakes up and actually does something important with their life.
Amen, brother. Amen.
So, man, I just want to say thank you for joining me on this.
Absolutely.
You're one of my favorite people. Bring the island flavor, man. You're such a good person. Tell everybody where you're from, actually, because that's an interesting story.
Trinidad and Tobago, the small island, the twin island in the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago.
My man, that's the best. And you're a big football fan, so that's important.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Andrew, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you, brother. I hope somebody's gonna change somebody's life today. I hope we change somebody's life today with this video.
Absolutely. So I want to just share with everybody how they can get in touch with me. You can go on my website, andrewmcdaniels.com. You'll see frequently asked questions there. You'll get contact details. You'll see information about my groups. The other things you can do is follow me on social media. You can follow me on Twitter, or X as they call it now, at Andrew McDaniels. You can follow me on Facebook, on Instagram. I have several YouTube channels. You can just search for my name on YouTube and you'll find me. Sorry, my cat is trying to jump up on me right now as I'm doing this end of video. So there's multiple ways to reach out to me. Like Neil said, go to my free group to get started, to see if this is for you. If it's not for you, then the free group, there's no obligation. You just, spend some time reading. And after that, if you are interested in working with me, I've got the paid group, which is a portfolio management group. If that resonates with you, you can reach out to me and I'll get in touch with you, and we'll have at least an hour or two on the phone. We did that several times, didn't we, Neil? I think I spoke a couple hours with you the first time, just explain everything in detail. But yeah, that's how you get in touch with me. That's how to get the ball rolling with mining and exploration investing. For anybody that doesn't know, I think that mining and exploration will be the greatest investment for the next decade, simply because it's the worst mining market in 40 years. And then we're going to have money printing on top of that. We're going to have the dollar collapsing on top of that. We're going to have real estate issues, the challenges, banking issues, maybe a banking crisis thrown in there. There's going to be multiple things happening, which you need gold and you need silver and you need platinum and you need like that kind of protection. So thank you for listening. Neil, thanks again for joining me, man. It's always a pleasure. And again, if anybody has any questions, just reach out to me directly. Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, brother. Take care.